Today is Saturday, 25th March 2023. This is Today Africa, and I'm Amik Hassan. I'm so tired, and it's really cold in Sweden today, and I'm really mad somehow. But however much I'm mad, because there are things that I see about Africa, and then you get to know that we are far away from getting to ourselves in Africa, because it's just a tweet, because this is just a short message that I just want to share with my audience. I don't know what you think or what you're going to think about it, but whatever happens, let me know in the comment section below. If you agree with me or if you disagree with me, let me know. But this is not a good sign for Africa, especially if we want to control our own continent ourselves in Africa. So to my understanding, there was African Union political affairs and meeting in the State Department in America. That is the African Union. So, but I'm going to read some of the tweets, even from the Ambassador Bankole Adeyoyi. But first of all, I'm going to start with another guy called Sajoba. Sajoba, because this particular name is coming from either Guinea Conakry or Sierra Leone, because we carry those two names. But let me read first from what Sajoba said, because I think he was part of the meeting in Washington DC, the State Department. Sajoba goes on, tweeted like this: concluded 3 days consultation in New York City and Washington DC with UN and US government officials on Somalia, Sahel, Sudan, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and funding for AU PSO. Enhanced partnership through multilateralism was emphasized. AU remains central to this peace process. This is a problem with Africa. I don't know when we will learn, First of all, let me first ask these AU leaders talking about United Nations here, okay? I don't know, maybe from my own experience, or I don't know, because not everything I know. But if you know, let me know or write it in the comment section below. Since the United Nations came to an existence, which war the United Nations has stopped in the whole world? I don't know about that, you understand? And then the US State Department, So when Africa is trying to solve its problem, this is my own take, I don't think the UN is responsible for peace in Africa, because, like I said, the existence of the United Nations has been so long. They've been existing for so long, but they have never ended any war that I know of. But if you know, let me know in the comment section below. But I'm coming to the conclusion where I'm trying to, because I want to go to the Ambassador Bankole Adeyoyi tweet as well, because let me know again. So this is where he tweeted, because I guess he's an ambassador. So he goes on, tweeted like this: at the State Department today with Miss Molly Faz, Assistant Secretary, Bureau of African Affairs, in continuation of the joint AU and UN strategy engagement towards generating needed support for #ATMS and SSF. We also conferred on various passing peace and security issue in Africa. this is a shame to the AU, to this ambassador that tweeted like this, you know, because the State Department in America, that is where all the problems in Africa is designed. The State Department, that is where the architects of all our problems in Africa, that is where they are. But we want peace in Africa, in Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan. Then we are traveling all the way from our own continent, traveling to another continent for peace in a very different continent, to the people who are the architects of these problems in Africa. You know, I say like this because this is where I got to conclude that the leadership of the AU is not a wise leadership. Okay, because there is no wise general in an army who will sit with a representative of the enemy telling him about his next strategies. Which general? No wise general could do that. So that is exactly what the AU is doing. You're going to meet the enemy, the architects of your problem and our problems in Africa. You're meeting these people. And let me just talk about this woman a little bit here, because Miss Molly Faz, Assistant Secretary, Bureau of African Affairs. I guess this woman just operates like Victoria Nuland. Okay, because this woman, imagine there is a very special department or a bureau in the State Department just for African affairs. So I don't know where in Africa or in the AU, if that too exists, let me know in the comment section below. But I don't know where in Africa or in any other African state that I know of are having a special department. This is a department for United States affairs or the European affairs. I know we do have foreign affairs because that is just one. Okay, but you have special people designed to create conflict in Africa. You talk about this Miss Molly Faz. These are the people who are being assigned to design this conflict in Africa. It's just like the Victoria Nuland in the very State Department as well, who is the architect of regime change all across Europe or Eastern Europe. Like, for example, the 2014 Maidan coup in Ukraine, Victoria Nuland. She is the architect of that. Okay, State Department representative. And then who again? Now she's presently on another new mission. What? A regime change in Belarus, Victoria Nuland. Okay, and then here we have this Miss Molly Faz for African Affairs. So you know, because that is the State Department. So why is Africa taking its problem to where the problem is being designed? Who said America or the State Department is committed to peace and security in Africa? It's a shame, you know. And then Mr. Bankole goes on again to say, excellent working session with Deputy Assistant Secretary of International Organization Affairs, David McFarlane, on the operation of ATMIS, Somalia, and other AU peace and security activities. The imperative for peace enforcement over peacekeeping in Africa cannot be overemphasized. Okay, we do have these UN peacekeepers across Africa, but we actually not in the right direction today. Somalia's problem, Ethiopia's problem, South Sudan's problem, It's all coming from the State Department. Where have we ever seen as Africans like the problem right now in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia? Where have we seen this problem? It's been taken to Africa to say, help us fix the problem in Ukraine today, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. No. They are in Africa for a very different purpose. And then the purpose for which they go to Africa, it is in fact to tell African leaders not to trade with Russia. In fact, maybe not to even trade with China. But they are not there to sit and discuss the problem with Ukraine or Russia or seeking for peace. They are there to tell these African leaders not to trade with Russia or even China. Okay, so why is Africa taking its problem to the State Department, the architects? You know, sometimes, because this particular meeting, you know, talks about funding. That is why I always say, in Africa, all we think about is money. We actually don't care about the continent. If you want peace and stability in Africa, then don't sit with the enemy to discuss the affairs of Africa, because they don't sit with African leaders to discuss the affairs of Europe or America. It will never happen. Because why? We, according to them, we are subhuman. So why would they take their problems to us? So it is so shameful for African leaders. It's like we have no capable leaders across Africa that could actually fix the problem of Africa. We have problems with opposition leaders. That is why I always say, when you as a sitting government having a problem with your opposition leaders or opposition parties, come together and fix these problems. But taking the problems of Africa to the State Department or the EU, it will never, never, never succeed, we in Africa, if we only depending on the State Department, the European Union, to stabilize Africa in terms of peace and security. Then we are not yet there. We are not yet there. So these are some of the problems we have in Africa. So if I'm right, or if it makes sense what I'm talking here, let me know in the comment section below. But at the same time, I might be wrong about this, but this is my own take. If you think I'm right or what I'm talking here, it's making sense, then let me know in the comment section below. But again, if I'm wrong, my email is in the description below. You can email me, then I'll send you link. We will talk about this live, so we know whether I'm wrong or I'm making sense. But whatever happens, even if other people think that I'm wrong in this, but this is my own opinion, I don't think Africa, the AU, should take Africa's problem to the State Department, because those are the architects of every problem that is going on in Africa. You know, so I'm done with this particular information about the AU. So this, I just have a last statement that I want to make, because, you know, in many cases the State Department in America always release its human rights annual report about countries committing war crimes, human rights abuse, and everything. So on the recent human rights release, human rights abuse release, the annual report from the State Department. They talk about Russia, war crimes in Ukraine, and then Iran cracked down on anti-hijab protesters, and then even China, human rights abuse, and every country across the world, including India, they talked about the human rights abuse about every other country. But there is just one thing they forgot to talk about, you know. But that one thing they failed to talk about, by the end of this video, then you watch the movie, what they forgot to talk about, because every other country's been named about their war crimes, human rights abuse, but they forgot one thing. So at the end of the video, you see that. So this is where I will stop. If you think that we are doing well on this channel, you can help us develop this channel by clicking the subscription button, like the video, and share it all across Africa, because all our messages that are coming from this channel, it is mainly for Africa, because we need to learn a lot. So you can please help us by clicking the subscribe button, like the video, and share it. Thank you. See you on the next video.
We're just wondering why we should vote for someone who voted for a war and killed thousands of our brothers and sisters. Countless Iraqi civilians. You enabled that. You also gave a medal to the man who enabled that war and caused that war. Your blood is on your hands as well. And you're just following. You're just following.